So the prosecution could rest tomorrow in former President Trump's criminal trial. The defense says that it has communicated with a potential rebuttal witness. Robert Costello is an attorney who once advised Michael Cohen, who reportedly says that Trump's lawyers have contacted him, Costello. Today, Costello, who we've interviewed here on the story, testified before a House committee about weaponizing the rule of law, the general subject. So he said this while he was there about Michael Cohen. Watch.
He said, I didn't want to embarrass Melania Trump. He said, that's why I decided to take care of this on my own. Right. I went back to that several times. You did this on your own? On my own. Did Donald Trump have anything to do with it? No.
With that, we bring in Trump attorney Alina Habba. She has been attending court, but is not representing the former president in this particular case. Alina, great to have you back. Thank you for joining us today. It's interesting because Costello also said Cohen then explained that the reason that he negotiated a sum of $130,000 for the NDA, when asked if Trump had any knowledge of this, Cohen told him no. Your thoughts on Costello, and do you believe that he will be called by the defense as soon as tomorrow, potentially?
Well, tomorrow, I think, will be the cross-examination continued by the defense of Michael Cohen. As we've seen, we've just begun that portion of the case. My understanding from the prosecution is that this will be their last witness and rest their case. So it's very clear they have not proven any of the elements of the alleged crime, which we're not even sure what it is. But there's absolutely no intent for any interference in an election other than what I've been seeing currently with the Biden administration. Costello's testimony today is interesting. It's not inconsistent with things that he said before. I think he, is an attorney. He obviously has inside knowledge. We'll see what the defense team that's handling this case chooses to do. Whether I knew or not, you know me better than to think that I would say so on national television. But, we will have our turn at this ridiculous trial and hopefully get the president back out there and campaigning like he should be.
I thought it was interesting. Todd Blanche came out. His first questioning of Michael Cohen was about himself, about Todd Blanche, the attorney. He said, my name's Todd Blanche. You and I have never spoken before, have we? And Cohen said, we have not. Blanche said, but you know who I am, don't you? He said, I do. As a matter of fact, on April 23rd, so after the trial started in this case, you went on TikTok and called me a crying little S, didn't you? Cohen said, sounds like something I would say. What was that about? Why did he start that way? I know the judge said to him, why are you making this about you? What was he what point was he making there, Alina?
I can't speak about the witness, obviously, at this point, even though I would love to, I assure you. But that, with the unconstitutional gag order and my ethics, I'm kind of restrained there. Todd is a great lawyer. I think that he is using and will use anything that we have as evidence of any bias, period, the end. So I think that's important. I think there's another point here, Martha. We have a dual justice system where the gag order applies to one side, us, and only us. There has been no gag order put on their side. They have been free to speak, the prosecution's witnesses, and I can't see how that point could possibly be lost on Americans in an election season 6 months before an election. Yeah. It's so uncanny. It's so unjust. So I think all those things are being relayed. I hope the American people are listening in and understanding that everything is done strategically. This is a great team that we have here, and I really have little doubt that we'll prevail at the end.
Well, as you point out, there are really two audiences here. There's the political American audience who's watching all of this, and then there are the 12 people on the jury who I know you can talk about. We don't know who they are, and we only know a few things about their professions, et cetera. But I thought this was interesting over at CNN. This is Elie Honig, the legal correspondent there, talking about the cross-examination. I just want you to hear what he said.
This should be a bonanza for cross-examination. You with three former federal prosecutors here. What would you do if you found out The eve of a big trial that your star witness was selling T-shirts showing the defendant in prison. I mean, you'd have to think hard about dismissing the case. That is a major flaw in the defense. Laughing about a defendant going to jail is, I think it's offensive to the jury. That's not for Michael Cohen to say. No.
Yeah, we have a picture of one of these T-shirts, and I know you have to be careful with anything with regard to the current witness who's being cross-examined. But just in terms of the legal theory behind that, do you think that if a witness is selling merchandise against the person who's the defendant, in a general sense, Alina, would a judge find for a mistrial in that case? And do you think that Merchan, I know you don't feel like he's been, open to the defense side all that much, but do you think that he might?
We're going to continue to move for that. Do I think any activity like that generally is advisable by a witness, let alone the key witness, for a trial? No. If I was the prosecution and working for the DA, I would definitely try and stop that immediately. Again, when you're trying any case, you want to prevent bias. You want to prevent any appearance that anybody on your case, and being witnesses or attorneys, frankly, show bias. But what we've consistently seen is a judge who should recuse who has clear historical biases for things I can't discuss, but the press has reported, for prosecutors, DAs with political motivations, with political funding by, serious Democrat donors. And all of those things are supposed to be left outside of the court for a very important reason. Number one, it weakens their case. It frankly just does. Not that they had one to start with, but it does. Number two, it gives the appearance of impropriety, the appearance of selective prosecution, we call it, which is a targeting of someone. That is what is in fact happening. So I'm not surprised by any of this. And we're in good shape, by the way, Martha, when CNN, when MSNBC have to start admitting, you heard Fareed, have to start admitting that there is no case here. The reality of the situation is the Democrats have focused so much on political lawfare that they are strengthening President Trump, who was already strong, who was already leading. And they're just helping our cause with all of these witch hunts and with all of this nonsense. The American people, I truly believe, are sick of it. I think seeing all the police lined up, Martha, I don't know if you've been in the courtroom, but the amount of police power in a city that has fallen apart
is
stunning. So sad and such a disgrace.
Stunning. Walking in and out of that building is a real education in what's going on down there. So we will see how long the cross continues with Michael Cohen tomorrow, and we'll be watching. Alina, thank you very much. Always good to see you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.